5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, yes, this is Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble. It goes from now until midnight tonight. Yes, okay. Hello, welcome to the program. I decided not to wear a cap tonight, although maybe I have to wear a cap. I'll tell you why. I bought these two lights here. And they're what lights me now, which is looks pretty good, actually. You know, it looks really good. The background is a little darker. I'm a little more defined. The picture is much clearer, and let me just see here. Yeah, it's much clearer, and because the less light you have, the more it has to suck out the picture and so on. And it now looks great. It's a great picture. But I decided not to wear a cap tonight, and all of a sudden I'm noticing that these lights are just really bright. Yeah. I don't know how you don't have them this bright. The one over here is brighter than the one over here. Okay, I'll show you what I mean here. Hold on a second. You should be watching this instead of listening to this. But if you're listening to this, I'm sorry if I'm doing something that's a little bit. Let's see here. Where do we go? Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's see here. This light is lighter, see, than this light over here, which is brighter. Okay? So we put them both on, and now we're okay. All right? Or we could turn them all off, and then I would just it'd look like it used to look. Anyway, so that's what I do. Anyway, I have no guest tonight. I won't have a guest all week, basically, because I didn't think I would be here that much this week because of the so-called operation, which never happened. Got a call today from my doctor's office. The woman there profusely apologized for the inconvenience yesterday. I went, inconvenience? I mean, it was a cluster bleep, all right? Words I do not say as much as I used to because I want to be monetized. By the way, I'm up to $5. I made $5 so far. As soon as I get to 10, I'm taking everybody out to dinner, okay? All right. I think that's in 2 weeks I got $5. So that means that in 4 weeks, I get $10. And then after a year, I'd have about $120. Hey. Living large. Anyway. By the way, if you get a chance, this is the way we can cheat the system. If you go over and you watch the show after it's played, and you will then get a commercial at the very beginning, okay? Watch that commercial for about the required 5 seconds, and then go watch the show, or if you don't want to watch the show, just go somewhere else. But you might do that like 3, 4, 5 times a day, and if every one of you did that, I'd have another 35 cents. So, also get your friends to subscribe to our channel. We actually have had a lot of subscribers lately. I don't know why, but suddenly in the last, 2 weeks or something like that, we've had something like 50 new subscribers to the channel. And I don't know how that happened, but apparently we must be terribly and increasingly entertaining. I don't understand why. I listen to tapes of myself. What I did is I bought a whole bunch of old Midnight Blues shows that were on sale so that I could then steal stuff off of them, because after all, I'm on them and I've never gotten paid for my appearances, and they don't have any right to be using my image without my permission, so I'm going to steal stuff without their permission, which we'll show some of here. I found the Arnold Schwarzenegger interview, The Cat House for Dogs, which is a classic, and a couple other things that I can probably show right here. and then I might repurpose them anyway, and screw the guy who thinks he owns them because he doesn't own a damn thing. But anyway, I was watching my old stuff and I went, God, back then I wasn't a bad looking guy. I always thought I was kind of an ugly kid, and I always thought I was an even more ugly adult. And it's pretty sure that if you're an ugly kid, you're not going to be a good looking adult. And if you're a good looking adult, things can only get worse. Okay? I got to tell you, no matter how good looking you think you are right now, someday you're going to look like me. Okay? Just get used to it. I didn't want to pass along that bad news to you, but I'm passing along that bad news to you. So anyway, I was watching these things, and I said, not a bad looking guy. I was amazed at, and I had hair and everything, and I would have had sex with me if I were somebody. It was a good looking guy. And I found that I was, I think, incredibly talented. I was doing some comedic bits and so on the show. My timing was terrific. It's just a shame I didn't try to go in another direction. Why? I was so stuck on radio that I just did radio because I really should have really tried to go into television and doing parts on television and things like that. But it's a little too late for those regrets now. Maybe I can play a surly old man or something on TV now, but, what the hell. So anyway, I was watching this stuff and saying, hey, I was pretty good. And boy, do I suck now. Because I don't like the way I sound now. I think I do just a crappy job of doing this show. So why you still watch, I have no idea. And I will continue to do it for as long as I possibly can. They didn't take away my masculinity this week, so it'll be next week probably. I got a call from the doctor today. As you know, yesterday I went through this whole thing where I went to the hospital and they took me in and they gave me the bracelet and they made me wear the paper costume. And they did all the intake stuff that they had to do and the questions and did you have anything to eat today and what are these medicines are you still using and deep. And I did all of that and they took my temperature and they took my blood pressure, and they weighed me on their big scale, which I turned the other direction because I didn't want to see how much I weighed on their scale. And then I'm sitting there waiting in the room, and then they say to me, oh, they're not going to be able to operate on you today. What? The operation was canceled? What if this were something that had to be done right now? Doctor comes down, says the hospital didn't order up the things he needed for this specific operation, which is a seed implant, radioactive seed implant in my prostate. And it wasn't just me; it was two other people too. One of which came all the way from Pennsylvania for the operation. So he said, "Yeah, they didn't have my. I need this little thing. It's about this big." He said, and it's where I put that on your perineum, and then I put in needles and stuff and put the seeds in. He says, I can't do it without that. And they didn't have any in the operating room for me when they were supposed to. Okay? They were supposed to. So much for Mount Sinai. I'm through with Mount Sinai. From here on in, I'm going down to, there's what was Sloan Kettering is a good cancer hospital. And then there's one over at Cornell Weill, which I used to think was the name of an old movie actor. Cornell Weill is Shecky's going there for just some tests and things like that. He says, it's gorgeous. And I had a friend who died there. And I went up to see her in her hospital room. And she was pretty well on her last leg. This one I inherited the money from. She died. But before she died, I went up to see her in her hospital room at the Cornell Weill. And the rooms are incredible. I said, what is this? This is like they put you up in your own apartment. This is better than your apartment. Because I remember her apartment. It wasn't like that. It was gorgeous. And Shecky said all the rooms in that hospital are like that. It's like, and David Koch, one of the Koch brothers, was the guy who put up the money for this hospital. So I'm going over there next time. I'm going over to the luxury suites, I'm going somewhere where they at least can supply the doctor with the tools he needs to do the operation. Which brought me down to what I thought I might talk about tonight, since I guess I'm going to have to do a half hour of talking to people. And I don't know. It's funny. I don't really like doing these monologues, but then I start in on them, and by the time I'm finished, I find that 30 minutes has gone by, and I better talk to my regular audience. But stand by, because I may not be able to go all the way. Anyway, where were we? Okay, so I'm going to say something here, and I don't want to panic you. I don't want you to go into a apoplectic fit when I say this. But there's a good chance that within, say, 2 or 3 months, quite a few of you out there watching me or watching this are going to be dead. Now, why do I say that? I say that because there's a little thing running around called the coronavirus, and it hasn't hit the United States yet, because we're lucky that it hasn't hit yet. All right. There are a couple of cases here in the United States, and that's the way it always starts. A few little cases here, a few little cases there, then a few more cases, then a few more cases, and oh my God, Nellie closed the barn door. We have ourselves a pandemic, all right? And this disease is not just some kind of phony science that we're talking about here. We're talking about something that's already killed something like 2,600 Chinese. And I don't know, infected how many hundreds of thousands more. Now you say, oh, okay, 2,600 out of that isn't much. Still, it's a massive illness that has literally taken a whole country and reduced its economy by 40% because of the disease. Because they have to take care of it somehow, and they have to be able to afford it. And it's causing problems because people don't want to buy things from them. Apple can't get their stuff made. Apple's being affected by it. Everything's being affected by it. Even our own stock market, which as of today is down over 2,000 points this week. That's quite a drop. So I mean, you can say whatever you want to about this. Oh no, it's not really a problem because only 2,600 out of all those Chinese that got it died from it. Well, it's a little worse in percentages in South Korea, which has also caught it. I think we've heard nothing from North Korea, but I don't think they're catching it because nobody goes there. Okay, so maybe they were the smartest people of all by having a nation that has nothing to do with the rest of the world, and that's preventing them from getting this virus. But the coronavirus is a very real thing. It is a very lethal thing, and a couple of you out there watching me might be dead in about 3 months. Now, well, it hasn't hit the United States yet. It's going to. The CDC today warned that it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, okay? And this is from the CDC, who used to have a lot of people to handle a situation like this, but unfortunately don't anymore because that son of a bitch, Trump, cut their funding. Yes, he cut the funding to the CDC, the very people who keep us healthy. And he tried to do it to the Institute of Health, but he wasn't able to do it. But he went after the CDC and cut them by that much. Tonight, he goes on television and tells us nothing to worry about. We've got the whole thing in hand. We've got it all taken care of. It's no problem here. It's a perfect situation. It was a perfect call. Yeah. It's a perfect situation. We've got the best doctors in the world here, but the best doctors in the world are not going to stop a virus. What's going to stop a virus is if you have a infrastructure in place that somehow keeps it in check, and he just got rid of that infrastructure. And now he's going on the air and telling everybody, don't worry, it's going to be okay. Look, only 2,600 people died in China. That's not a lot. Well, wait till it gets up to 10,000 and then tell me it's not a lot, okay? And he gets on the air and he gives us all this medical information, and I'm thinking to myself, when did he die and become a doctor? What medical facility did he get his doctorate, his doctor's disease, his physician's disease degree from? His disease, yeah. What makes him a doctor? I mean, he's just amazing. He doesn't know a thing about science. He doesn't believe in science. And now, when something scientific happens, he tries to act like, well, I know what's happening, And here are the statistics, and we're going to put Mike Pence in charge of the whole thing. Oh, good. I feel really safe now. And then we're told we have the best doctors in the world. We have the best hospitals in the world. And I just went to one of the best hospitals in America last night and got screwed with. Okay? They made a major mistake. Okay. Now, it wasn't life-threatening because procedure I was going to have wasn't life-threatening. But what happens when that piece of equipment isn't there for the doctor who's doing something that's about to save somebody's life? So don't tell me, Donald Trump, that we have the best medicine in the world. You know who has great medicine? France has great medicine. The Scandinavian countries have great medicine. Cuba has great medicine. That's become a big argument about Bernie Sanders, that he said something positive about Cuba, but we do know that Cuba has a very good medical system. They have their version of Medicare for all, and when you get sick, you get taken care of in Cuba. Now, it's hard to believe that a country that is still back in the Stone Age, because we put them there, it has that good a health care and a better health care system than we do, but they do. Okay? They also have a very good educational system. That's why, remember that kid who escaped, they escaped from Cuba or something, and he wanted to go back, and they didn't want to let him. Anyway, he went back to Cuba and got a great education. So, anyway, there are good things to say about Cuba, even though it's a terrible country to live in, and I wouldn't want to live there under the Castro regime. But that was then, and this is now, and times change, and even though it's still a communist country, kind of, But anyway, don't tell us that we've got the best medical system in the world when it's a medical system that's being run by insurance companies who are only out for one thing, and that's profit. Okay, and don't tell me that we're all safe because of our medical system. Believe me, after yesterday, as soon as I cannot go back to Mount Sinai, I'm not going back to Mount Sinai. The only reason I might go back there is if I have a heart attack and it is the closest hospital, okay? But otherwise, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to have anything to do with those idiots, And so don't tell me that one of the best hospitals in America is an example of how good the American medical system is. Okay? All right. But we have a problem here where we're going to be facing the coronavirus, no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what idiot boy tells us. And the only reason he's trying to tamp down the fear and everything is because the stock market is going crazy. I mean, he's worth a lot less today if he even owns anything, if he owns any stock. He's worth a lot less today than he was 2 days ago, okay? And I'm sure that was the thing that hurt him most of all. He's got to get his money back, and so that's why he made his speech tonight. It didn't do anything to make me feel calmer. I looked at girlfriend. I said, "Do you feel calmer now that the ship of state is right on course to solving this problem?" And she went, "No, not at all, And it's not coming up from Mexico. So You can't blame it on the Mexicans. Oh yeah, you can blame it on the Chinese. Not only Chinese bats. Okay, so it's just amazing. Um, and so for all of you who aren't going to be here a couple of months from now, nice seeing you. And I might be one of them. You know, I'm older. I'm more subject to getting this kind of disease than a lot of you are. A lot of you can hold up to it much better. American Patriot says, go to Cuba. I didn't say that, American Patriot, you bleeping moron. I didn't say that. I didn't say I wanted to live in Cuba. I just gave you some very salient facts about Cuba and their medical system and about their educational system, and they are both considered to be very good. Now, certain freedoms in Cuba, no. The way in which they relate to the average person in Cuba, the government, no. But, you know, what I was talking about, yes. So just shut the hell up, American Patriot. In fact, you know what I'm going to do to American Patriot? This is what I'm going to do. Charlie Wallace says, bye, Alex. Yeah. Yeah, right, Charlie. You know what I'm talking about. Let me see here. Hide user on this channel. Oh, put user in timeout. Okay. I'm putting American Patriot in timeout. Okay. Yeah. Patriot is a troll, says Carter Bing. No, he's not exactly a troll. He's there every night doing this. So is that the definition of a troll? I don't think a troll does that. So, Alex, why aren't you wearing a cap? Well, I'm in solidarity with Marjorie. Girlfriend has decided she's no longer going to color her hair. And it's slowly coming in gray. And every now and then I look over at her in the middle of the night with that gray hair and I think to myself, I'm living with an old woman. Anyway, no, dear, if you're listening to this, I love you. I think it's going to look terrific. And the thing was, she always gave me a bad time when I colored my hair, okay? So she'd been coloring it for years now. I asked her how much she spends on getting it colored, and she said something like $175 every month or so. And I'm thinking, how much money is this woman? Where's she getting all this money from? Is she hooking on the side or something? You know, to take care of her nails and her hair and her everything. But anyway, I said that's one expense you don't have now, so we can live. We can go out and buy dinner more often. Anyway, no, I gotta. Excuse me. I have to. Oh, here it is. Here's a tissue. Excuse me. I'm going to blow my nose, but I'm going to kill the mic. Yes. Okay, there we go. That's pretty nice. Well, I think I'll open up the lines and go to them early here. Let me see here. What do I have? I got to find, there we go. Is that, oh, here we go. There's Skype. I have trouble finding. I got too much stuff on here. And I open the lines, and then people can call me, and I'll talk to them, and they'll talk for a while. And I may have to run off to the bathroom at some point here. My stomach is roiling tonight. Just wait till I get this operation. I'll have to go to the bathroom every minute and a half. But my doctor said it isn't going to be that bad. He said yesterday I talked to him. He said, it's nothing, you know. It's a little some discomfort. I asked him about my tiredness, my what do you call it, mild fatigue, which isn't quite so mild. And he says, no, that happens a couple of weeks afterwards, as a matter of fact. Hey, here comes Charlie Wallace, and I just want to say to Charlie, goodbye, Charlie. It's been nice knowing you. You know, and it's gonna be we're gonna have to deal with it. Let me see here. First of all, Charlie Wallace. Let me get him here, and then we'll open the lines for Phil, who will then come in and tell me that there's nothing with the virus or anything like that. Don't worry about it, Alex. You're not gonna come get us. It's all fake science. All right. Let me see here. I have to find Phil here. Let me put Phil in here. Let me see here. Where's Phil? No, it's not there. Okay, hold on a second. Let me also put Jeff Zeller there. This only happens once during the show that I have to do this much work to get people on. And then get, let me see here. Zeller, let me see here. Oh, there we go. I no longer have him on as that. I have on some big name. There we go. Hello, everybody. How are you all?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. You there?
Enjoying my last days on Earth.
Yeah, or enjoying your last days on Earth, are you? Okay, here comes Bree. Hold on a second. Got it.
Maybe they'll quarantine us. You know?
Yeah. 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 It's not good. You know, not good. It's good.
I got Robitussin with codeine.
Robitussin with codeine, that'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bree, there's something with your fan that's, kind of loud. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's a little better now.
Yeah. With all that equipment, you should get a directional mic.
Me?
Yeah.
What equipment?
Let's not get into more technical advice here. You want to do that? Go to work for some computer company and move to India and become part of tech support. Okay?
Well, that's what I've become.
Yeah, but it's amazing how little you know.
Hey, I solved the pandemic. I have found, I'm not sick, and I have found that nylon carpet fibers,
Yeah.
you breathe in enough of them, you
Yeah.
won't get the virus.
Oh, we won't get the virus. I see.
No room.
Well, I had a friend in Thailand who said that he drank so much alcohol that the virus didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you believe that kind of stuff.
Lost
Yeah.
liver.
No.
Oh, well, there was I've got one for you. There was a minister of health. I don't know if it was health or if it was somewhat related to health in Indonesia. She said that women could get pregnant from men in a swimming pool because there's a certain strong kind of sperm that could get a woman pregnant in a swimming pool.
Mm-hmm. Did you mention to that same woman that chlorine will kill the sperm?
I didn't say it. It was in the news.
I think if they sit on the toilet seat, they get it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is Trump creates his own world, his own reality, around it. I look at it this way.
You mean, wait, hold on. You mean Dr. Trump?
Dr. Trump. I had a German teacher in high school who would crazily overpronounce things, and it actually worked because he would overpronounce it so that if we got if we said it half the way he did it, we would be closer to how it was said. And this is kind of what you need on a global scale for health. Like the CDC has to raise the alert so that the average Joe will take it seriously and that they'll be aware and be concerned about it. Mm-hmm. Now, at the same time, Rush Limbaugh said it was a cold virus. It's not the rhinovirus. It's a coronavirus. So it's more like a flu virus. And it behaves like the flu, but it seems to be more contagious. And this is probably because we do not have an immunity built up to it. So, it is one of a number of coronaviruses. And I have news for you. There's like 2,000 or 3,000 that are in labs that we have no idea what they are. So it just so happens that this one leaked, and it's causing all this. The best solution is it will be disseminated in the populations, and that's probably best. We need to fight it. We're always so concerned about how do we close it down and build a new vaccine for it and X, Y, Z. This is nature, and nature is as nature does.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think if a few Chinese didn't eat bats for dinner, probably we would be better.
I got news for you, Alex. Waldorf Astoria, 2 years ago, National Geographic did a special, New Yorkers eating exotic cuisine in the Waldorf, including bats.
Including bats. Well,
in New York City. So
I mean,
that this was an attack on our economy by the Chinese, that they sent over, or they're disseminating this virus just to weaken the rest of the world so their economy will remain, will be
You
number
don't
one.
really believe that, do you, Phil?
Hey, I heard it today on my Trump phone. You know,
Meanwhile, it's only their economy that's suffering at the moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Alex lost in 2,000 points. That's a lot. Let me see what Trump says. He's not here. He's fighting viruses.
Yeah, he's busy. He's busy doctoring to people.
Yeah.
He'll be giving out vaccinations next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He just might.
Only to Republicans.
Well,
He'll
supposedly
give
there was
one.
a guy I saw on TV tonight. Admittedly, he was on MSNBC, but he was a doctor, and he said that almost everything Trump has said about this is wrong.
Wrong. I heard that.
Is wrong.
Did he get his education from the Schumer University?
No. But he said that everything he was saying was wrong about how much cold, how you could get it and not get it. I mean, he actually believes this virus is going to be gone once the hot weather gets here.
Like it's not hot in Africa where a lot of these viruses
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
They got it in Iran. I don't know about Africa. Did they get it in Africa?
No, they got it in Iran, but they won't say how much is in Iran. They're very quiet about that.
Qum is Qum in Saudi Arabia or Iran?
What?
That holy city where people go to pray. I think it's called Qum, K-U-M or K-O-M.
Never heard of it.
Q-U-Q-O-M. Oh, it's one of the holiest cities in Iran. And so people go from all over to pray there. And that's where most of the cases have shown up in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord! Then
I
they
gotta
all go
tell
back
you.
home.
When we talk about climate change, you see most of the effects, and it's the same. It's kind of like the people that Bernie Sanders champions. They're the ones. If you don't have money, you're going to be affected. So it's kind of like for Trump, climate change is not a big deal because he can get in his air-conditioned car and he drink a bottled water, as a lot of people can. I'm not just saying Trump, but so it doesn't have an effect on them. Same thing. If you get the coronavirus and you have good health care, you're going to be fine. But the problem is that we don't. We have people being, in Florida going to get checked for coronavirus, getting charged $10,000. That's ridiculous.
Well, they're not going to go to the hospital. They're going to wait until they're really sick, and then they'll go to the hospital, and then it's too late.
And then it will be charged more because they'll have to go to emergency. And some will get turned away. It's just crazy.
They'll wait till they're on Medicare, and then it'll cost less.
They'll be dead by then.
That's how you thin the herd.
Well,
for most people, it's not a death sentence, and if you've got good health care, you're going to be okay.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
And if you're not susceptible to getting sick.
Well, some people are more susceptible than others to getting really sick from this, and they haven't been able to find out why, and they don't know why.
Their immune systems might be down.
They might be down, whatever.
Bill says,
But I hardly think that I'm going to go to Donald Trump for medical advice.
Well, I got my medical degree from Trump University.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, they had a very good medical school there, didn't they?
Yeah.
We've done a lot of studies. If you remember,
Dr. Phil.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, during George W. Bush's administration, there was an issue with the markets as well, and he gave a talk, and a lot of research has been done, and this goes back to Aristotle: logos, pathos, and egos. And it's, if you don't have the credibility, then your message is not going to be received in the same way. However, what Trump does is very smart because he has lessened the overall credibility of everything. So he basically says, you can't trust the media. So what he becomes then is, it's all about beliefs. It's what you believe. So if you believe Trump, then you believe Trump. And you need no other source, because he's sort of cut off that avenue of credibility. He's damaged it to the point where, people won't trust anything.
Yeah.
I heard today on Fox that they were saying that Trump spoke to the nation and didn't treat them as that he was speaking down to them, that he was speaking in a layman's terms and on on an honest level.
Yeah, he was talking in idiot gibberish.
Well, whatever you call it, that's what many other people call it, is that he was being honest with them and talking to them in a way that they can understand, not talking down to them like some elitist.
He couldn't talk down to anybody. He doesn't know how to talk down to anybody because he has no brain to talk down to them with.
Oh, you're brainwashed. That's the brain.
That's your easy answer to everything I have to say, Phil. And I'm brainwashed. That I'm so stupid that I'm brainwashed. And then you're talking about somebody not talking down to people?
Yeah.
Listen.
I didn't say I was Trump.
I mean, come on. This man's going to turn this whole country into a parking lot.
And I hope he does for another.
Well, to begin with, he was talking about the fact that sooner or later there will be a president for life.
Uh-oh.
He said that recently. That was his most recent pronouncement.
He was greeted like a king in India.
Yeah, well, Modi is the biggest jerk in the world. This guy is like an anti-Semite. He's everything else.
What's he got, 1 billion people that he leads?
Most people won't know that. They'll just, most people think it's good. They'll think, hey, Trump went to India. He looked really good.
Yeah.
And he did.
That's what most people will think.
He did.
Yeah. Modi wants to get rid of certain groups of people in India, and he's like horrible. He's just terrible. Yeah. He's an ugly person. And nobody to better kiss his ass than to kiss the ass of than Donald Trump.
Well, I think that we should get along with the next largest population.
And we do get along with them without kissing their butt because they need us too.
He didn't kiss.
Yes, he did. Anytime somebody goes down there, listen. He saw the Taj Mahal that was successful. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. First of all, he wanted to see what a successful Taj Mahal was like.
You know why he took? Because he had the casino tables that he was moving into that Taj Mahal. Baccarat, poker, and roulette.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, the point is that Trump loves to go to places where they treat him like he's a celebrity. He has such an ego; it's amazing. You can't deny he doesn't have a supreme ego.
He is a celebrity. Do you have a star on the Walk of Fame? No.
No, but he does, and it keeps getting chopped up every 3 days.
Well, that's because people revere it so they want to take it home.
I see. I see. Okay. If that's your answer to that one.
Yeah.
So you're not saying there isn't a problem of a pandemic hitting our shores?
Oh, I think there is a problem there. What Trump said, and I agree with him.
How do you feel about the fact that he left us vulnerable because of getting rid of a good deal of the CDC?
Well, I do know that what he did was he stopped travel, which was
no. I'm not talking about that, Phil. I'm talking about the fact that he stopped funding at least a quarter of the funding, a half of the funding of the CDC. Wait a minute, who is our prime barricade against disease in this country?
I don't know that that's in fact accurate.
Oh, it is accurate, Phil. It is absolutely. Charlie agreed with me. Charlie's at 100% accurate. What I just said about Trump and the CDC. Yeah. Jeff, do you know that to be true, Jeff?
Yes.
So Phil is the only one who didn't get the memo.
Yeah, $2.5 billion to fight this virus. And then Pelosi's trying to weaponize it and say it should be $8 billion. And McCarthy, what's his name? Who's the
Republicans are saying they want $4 billion.
$4 billion.
They want $4 billion. So
who's the second in command in the House, or the command in the House for the Republicans? Starts with an M. He's from California.
Who? From California.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the congressman from California. He would be the Speaker of the House if Pelosi didn't have a majority.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Well, he's the one that said $4 billion. So I think they're gonna settle somewhere in between.
It isn't a question of settling in between. If he hadn't taken away funding of the CDC, we would have the money to do it with.
We do.
No, we would. We would. This is a special thing, like going to war. You need to appropriate
money for a specific purpose. And just to throw money at the CDC.
No. He took the money from the CDC, and you know where he put it? Into free jujubes for the rich.
Yeah, well, didn't he build a wall with it?
May well have, Phil.
Well, that's moving
to stop the virus from coming over. It's on the other side of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie knows.
Yeah.
But why not through?
Yeah. It's going to be another exhausting evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Told you.
Huh? I don't know why I do this. I leave here, I'm exhausted. I could have just been in bed early.
No. Don't you like being challenged?
Huh?
Don't you like being challenged, or would you like just
I like being challenged. I don't like being exhausted.
Oh. Yeah.
So.
Well, you got cancer.
Huh?
You got cancer. You're going to get tired.
I've got cancer. I got a headache from this radiation, and
Yeah. So I was listening earlier. They're going to do it next week. The seeds.
I don't know when they're going to do it. She told me. Called up. Doctor's nurse called me up today. Said, first of all, we want to apologize. I said, thank you very much. She said, we're checking with the OR, the operating rooms, to see what day is available. So it could be either Friday or at the very latest next Tuesday. So I'm assuming it's going to be next Tuesday, right? And I will go there and I'll get dressed again, and then something else will happen,
Is Friday the 29th or is Saturday the 29th leap year?
Saturday, I think.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, they'll probably want to do it on Friday so they get the volume in on February.
Well, I'm going to be in the operating room, anesthetic induced, coming out of the anesthesia and all of that while Super Tuesday is going on. And I won't be on that night, and I'm just as glad because I can avoid the whole damn thing. Okay? Because it's going to be a cluster, you know what.
Yep.
A cluster, I still want to be monetized, you know what. I want to be, it's going to be horrible, and I'm telling you, I watched the whole debate today. I had nothing to do. I figured I'd watch the debate. I recorded it. And it's embarrassing. It is just embarrassing. To begin with, and Shecky came up with this, so I have to credit him with this. Do you know who Bernie Sanders is?
Larry David?
No. Think about it for a moment. Howard Beale.
Ah!
I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore.
Uh-huh.
He's Howard Beale.
Okay.
Not a Harold Stassen stand.
Do you always have to try and top a joke with one that isn't?
Of course.
That's a very good. It's a very good line. I mean, he really is. He really is Howard Beale.
Yeah.
A lot of people listening don't even know who the hell I'm talking about.
Put two together.
But he was the guy in Network who goes,
I didn't watch that whole film all the way through, but I
either.
But I'm mad as hell and I can't take this anymore.
Sure, from Network.
Yeah, and he was the mad prophet of the airwaves, and that's kind of who Bernie is. He's a mad prophet of the Democrats.
Yeah.
I didn't like any. I think the only one I kind of liked was Buttigieg. I thought he at least had a little dignity.
I thought
But
Bloomberg.
yeah, he's
Okay.
he's has a lot of show,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of
They're saying that
style.
Sanders won, and that
You know, he didn't win anything. Nobody won anything. Who won was Donald Trump last night.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
You know, and the more debates they have, they should know by now to tell CBS, nah, I don't think we're going to do one now. And by the way, CBS did the worst job of hosting
out of
that thing.
control. Out of control.
Not only out of control, they were trying to like stir the pot. You know,
Yeah.
they were trying to gin it up.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was the worst run
It
of all.
was similar to
And now the final big question isn't about global warming. The final big question isn't about the coronavirus. The final big question we're going to ask you is, what's your motto?
world peace.
You know, it's kind of like Miss America. You know, what are you praying for? World peace. Yeah, yeah. You know,
Can you hear a fan?
They
in my-
probably they're thinking like, we got to make this different. How do we got to ask them something that's totally different and unique for this? What do we come up with?
if you
Let's ask
were a
them about
tree, what
motto.
kind of tree would you be? You know,
Well, Bush couldn't have been a tree because he's a bush.
yeah. But I mean, it was just amazingly bad, and they were terrible, just terrible.
But that's what you got to choose from.
No, that is what we've got to choose from are the people who want to run for president.
Right.
The people who don't want to run for president are the people who should be. Okay.
Well, make
Well,
it
it always is.
What'd you say, Bree?
I've said that before. The person I want is the person who doesn't want to.
Doesn't want the job. Yeah.
And if elected, I will not serve. That's the guy I want.
Yeah. 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 Because who want? I don't know. Would I want that job? No, not on a bet. You know, especially all the misery you got to go through to deal with it and to do it. You know.
I think if Buttigieg were 10 years older and he had run his town like super well and everybody has had really great things to say about him, I think he could easily take it. I think he's 10 years shy of the experience that people would want and name recognition in order to do well. If he had appeared on Stephen Colbert, once or twice when he was a mayor, et cetera, he would have had a shot.
I think he's still got a shot. I'll tell you who's got a shot. Okay, is Bloomberg, and I'm going to tell you why. And a good shot. If this goes to a brokered convention, which it could very easily do, Bernie could maybe not have all the votes he needs to go to the convention as a winner. Okay, so they're going to have at least one vote before all the delegates are released, and at that point, Bloomberg swoops in and starts grabbing them up like crazy.
What states are in the Super Tuesday? Is California? I know. What other ones?
Texas.
Mexico, Peru.
Yeah. Now, seriously, if he gets California, Texas, and whatever states are part of the Super Tuesday, I don't think he's going to be stoppable. He's going to have enough.
I don't think he'll get Texas. I think that
He's ahead in the poll.
Is he ahead in the polls in Texas?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I'm not talking in the general election. I'm
No,
talking, Super Tuesday.
I'm
we're
talking about.
talking Super Tuesday. Yeah, he's ahead in the
Yeah.
polls.
Texas,
Where's
Florida,
Biden? I
Tennessee,
thought
Louisiana,
Biden would be
Oklahoma.
ahead in Texas.
Yeah. So now all of those states have an enormous amount of delegates, and he needs 91. So he's got some momentum now, and not that
What
is.
do you mean he
what
needs 91?
1991 is the number of
Yes.
delegates.
Well,
needed
he
for-
is not going to swoop all those up on Super Tuesday.
Well, no, but
All I'm
There's a whole
saying
bunch
is
of them
that
up.
if it goes to a brokered convention, Bloomberg could well get the nomination.
So could Howdy Doody. If it went to a brokered
so could
convention.
Biden.
Why
yeah.
could it also go to Howdy Doody, Phil?
Oh, I
Howdy Doody could be nominated.
would rather have Buttigieg than Bloomberg.
in a second.
Oh,
threat.
I feel exactly the same way. I mean, you know,
you're right,
it's
Alex. A lot of the Democrats owe a debt to Bloomberg.
yes, absolutely, because he got them
Well,
elected.
yeah, he's probably donated millions of dollars to him over the years.
That's right.
Some have nostalgia for Biden, and then
Said the 40 congressional people that spun the House for the Democrats, he had donated. I forget the exact amount. Did he say it was 100 million?
Something like that. A lot of money. A lot of money. Got him elected.
Is Bree frozen?
No, I don't think so. Or maybe
No.
he is. Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah.
But he will come back. He always does. He has to go to lunch on this show.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Hello, Patrick. How are you?
I am super duper like a ninja trooper.
I am dying a death by 1,000 cuts here, because Phil's on tonight.
You already had the cyber knife.
Yeah. No, I didn't have the cyber knife.
Well, whatever it is,
I
it's
had
close.
the, what was it called? There's a name for what I had. It's another
Thousand.
machine. It's another patented machine. It's supposedly better than the cyber knife.
Yeah. Hey, it's not a problem. I can help you if you want free reign.
No.
Problem. Go watch TV. You know.
Yeah, well,
laugh.
and I could go lie down while the rest of these people just talk to each other. You know.
And it will sound like the Democratic what last night.
And talking all over each other.
It was amazing. I mean, it was just you didn't see it at all, did you? No, of course Patrick didn't see it.
I saw some highlights, but better than seeing the highlight were hearing the highlight on a couple of the radio shows I listened to, especially what you were just talking about, where we're talking over each other. And, you know, I got to say, I would never vote for any of those people. But early in the process last year, we were talking about having adults have the presidency. And I have to say, from what I saw and heard from that debate, there were no adults on that stage other than perhaps Buttigieg. And
Yeah.
I have to say the same
youngest guy.
for the previous debate too, where he said, you know, I'm one of the only Democrats up here, you know, and it just, I don't know, it seems like everybody trying to one up everybody, which is what they should have done months ago. At this point in the debate season, there should be 3 or 4 of them that are consistently high in the polls and that people are excited about, and those are the ones that should be fighting it out. And then by the time we hit, what is it, next Tuesday is Super Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're going to narrow it down to, let's say, 3 or 2. And then it's those that are going to go, what is it, in April, whether it's the last
Unfortunately, Patrick, it's too late for it to get winnowed down to 2 or so. Because if it was down to 2 or 3 right now, Bernie Sanders wouldn't be leading. You get what I'm saying? Because he's only got about 29%, whereas the rest of them make up the rest of it. And basically where people would go would be to another moderate, okay? So it could well be that if, say, let's just say for giggles, that Stiers and Klobuchar went away, and it was left to 3 people left, I think Buttigieg would have a good shot of being ahead of Bernie Sanders.
You really
because
think
he's going to
Stiers-
absorb a lot of that, that middle ground.
Do you really think that Stiers doesn't want to be in the limelight anymore? I think that since he's gotten some action and he's been on the stage, I think it's intoxicating for him.
Well, I think it would do the Democratic Party a great deal of good if certain people would get out of the way. I think Elizabeth Warren at this point should get out of the way. I think Klobuchar should get out of the way, and I think that Steyer should get out of the way, because all they're doing is muddying up the track and then causing a cluster bleep like you saw last night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not that they were guilty of anything in particular, but because there were just too many of them, they were all fighting with each other. I mean, Elizabeth Warren was amazing last night. She couldn't get off her last win, so she had to re-emphasize it in spite of the fact that Bloomberg had done something about it. Let me just finish this, Phil, please. And she just handled herself all wrong last night by going once again after Bloomberg on that. And when she went after him on that, and he said, well, I already took care of that. I already did the disclosure agreements, and I've already decided to tell my company no more disclosure agreements in our company, non-disclosure agreements in our company. She should have come back and said, well, I'm glad I did something that made you change your ways and improved your company. Instead, she just kept going at him with this. And I looked at Marjorie and I said, listen, she is terrible. She's just horrible. I hate her the way she's acting. He already said he took care of it. Now shut the hell up and take credit for it yourself. But wait a minute, let me finish. Can I finish, Phil? Just let me finish, please. I mean, do you mind if I finish? Or would you like to keep talking? Would you like to barge in here? Huh? Oh, get mad at me. Because I want to say something without being stopped in the process. Anyway, the point, well, I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead, Phil. You can take over the show.
You were talking to Marjorie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
About Warren.
About Warren and how she was doing it wrong or whatever.
Well, that I was really, pissed at her. And then Phil last night said, well, and she got booed, by the way. She got booed for that.
Yeah.
And I felt it was a genuine boo. And then I listened to Phil last night insisted that it was because Bloomberg had people there to boo her. And I listened to the rest of the debate, and there were more boos for other people there. And it had nothing to do with Bloomberg. It had to do with whatever they were saying that they didn't approve of. Which, by the way, CBS should have told the audience, please, no booing or reacting to everything that they say. Because you just don't do that. This is not a wrestling match, This is a serious conversation about the soul of our country. Now you can talk, Phil. I'm through.
What I was going to say was that Bloomberg actually said to Warren that bringing up what she brought up will change the environment of his company, which will make a change to many companies across the country. So actually, Bloomberg did acknowledge.
Yeah, and after he did that, she kept going at him.
Right. That's when he said, no matter what I do, it's never going to be good enough.
Yeah, but that's why she's a stupid candidate, because she didn't know that was the time to take credit for changing Bloomberg and changing, what are you doing? Yeah, go.
Another clip of Warren, and I'm not sure that it was last night, and it got put together with last night. I don't know if it was phony or real, but what she said was that she was the visibly pregnant thing, and she got fired, and then she went after Bloomberg about the NDAs. So
that was about a statement Bloomberg supposedly made about some woman who got pregnant and who was in leadership in his company, and he made a bad joke by saying, well, then why doesn't she just get rid of it? Or something like that. But it was meant as a joke. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. But of course, Elizabeth Warren takes everything seriously. She's got a sense of humor of a turd.
But we found out that she wasn't fired because she was pregnant. Was 9 years ago or so, she was on a TV show and said something totally opposite to that. And this visibly pregnant thing, which she's been pushing for the last several months, it turns out is not true. And so
Who said that?
I can't remember who
I'm
said
sure
it.
it was. I'm sure it was on Fox,
I saw
Phil,
the video
or
clip.
Drudge. Or,
I saw the video
Yeah.
clip of her saying, "Hey, I just decided to raise a family," and it was totally benign. And it was at least 9, 10, 11 years ago. I don't remember exactly how long, but this clip was with a fairly neutral party interviewing her.
yeah, yes, Patrick.
Yeah, she was being interviewed. I remember seeing the clip. She was being interviewed by something like PBS or maybe 60 Minutes.
Very
And years ago, and she had talked about that she was pregnant, and she that was when she was working in a school, and then she had to leave her job because she was pregnant, and then she raised the family and all that. So,
It was her decision, according to that interview.
right.
And this visibly pregnant thing she's been using, and that's no different than the American Indian or any of these other lies that she is
Let
told.
me ask Charlie, because Charlie here tends to like. By the way, Bree hasn't come back. Charlie has been a fan of Elizabeth Warren's and a fan of Bernie's.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about these people last night? Are we being too harsh?
I
on
didn't
them?
watch I just saw clips on new YouTube today. So.
Are we being harsh?
No, I mean I think they did act kind of childish.
Yeah, yeah. And the only adult in the room was Buttigieg. I was going to say Gorbachev.
Hands.
Huh?
If he gets the nomination, Trump will go after the size of his hands, and I mean he learned from Marco Rubio.
Wait a minute. The size of his hands. Have you seen the stubby little sausage fingers that Trump has?
Well, if you put Trump hand up to Buttigieg hands, which one's bigger?
Well, I would say probably, I would imagine Buttigieg, if you're judging the penis size, is equal to the hand size. Because according to, what's her name, the stripper, the porn star, he has a sausage-like penis.
I think the heavier you get, the smaller it gets.
Is that true for your brain as well?
Not as long as you're a Republican.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Then you'd think I'm brilliant.
Anyway, I like Trump as our president because he makes me feel better about my weight. You should do the same thing for you, Phil.
Yeah, but I don't play golf.
Because he is a fat pig. Let's admit that. If we don't admit anything else about Trump, he is a fat, slovenly pig.
Yeah, but he's sleeping with Melania, and we're not.
Oh, no, he's not sleeping with Melania. And I'm sure maybe there are other people that say
I
they
don't think he's sleeping.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think they've been doing it for a long time.
Well, Barron's got Trump hair.
Well, what's that have to do with it?
Well, he's definitely Trump's son.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Unlike the belief that Ronan Farrow's father is Woody Allen.
Yeah.
I see the resemblance.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
They're both men. And
Nobody in any interview with Ronan Farrow ever approaches that question.
No.
Now that Ronan Farrow is being vindicated because of the Weinstein conviction,
How's he being vindicated?
Well, he continued to go after it. I know that there were two women that broke the story first, but they're saying that Ronan Farrow.
Listen, I think the whole Weinstein thing is. I'm just going to do a thing about this tomorrow night. My PC froze, and then a colleague stopped by. That's Bree's excuse.
Oh.
Okay. Well, let me just get rid of him. On the thing here. Hold on a second. He's in number 2 spot. Is that it? Okay. And if I. No, that's not it. Okay, he's what
I
is
believe
he?
it's a mercy spot.
He's He's not number 1, number 3. No,
Four.
number 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phil-
He's number 4. All right. Okay, there we go. We'll get rid of him there. What were we talking about? I forgot. Huh?
And Weinstein, Ronan Farrow and Weinstein.
Oh, yeah. I was going to get into talking about Weinstein tomorrow night because I have nothing to talk about for the first half hour. So I'll get to that tomorrow night because what I had to say was more than just Weinstein, but another case that went on years ago that was it was similar in nature. Okay, but Weinstein, I find him, always found him disgusting and vile, and I thought his personage was terrible, and the way in which he bought Hollywood Oscars was who?
It's Brie.
It's Bree, but he's sending messages, and
Picture.
it's annoying. Anyway,
Is there a common link between Weinstein and Epstein that they're both Jewish? You know?
yeah, but we Jews like to rape women. You know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if the fact is that Weinstein's I always found a disgusting, deplorable human being, but this whole thing with Weinstein has been a known fact in Hollywood for decades.
Yeah.
Okay? I first heard about it 20 years ago, and it was common knowledge about him, and everybody went, oh, well, that's just Harvey. You know, that was their attitude about it. And I always thought it disgusting and vile, but the fact was that these women knew, there was no way they didn't know this was Weinstein's nature, okay? No way, unless they were so out of it and so naive that they hadn't gotten the memo, which was not really a memo, it was really a mimeographed pamphlet, okay? And they still went up to his room with him. I mean, the idiocy. Do you think, well, I can go up there and he won't do it to me? What, do you really think that? You know, he does it to every woman who'll come up to his room. So don't go up to his room. Meet him for lunch and discuss business. Tell him you want the part over lunch. Don't go to his room. I'm sure there were women saying to them, don't go up to his room, but they went up to his room. At what point do we have to say, how many people have to know about this guy before the message gets around to these women that they shouldn't go up to Harvey Weinstein's room? You know, and maybe I'm being a sexist pig. Go ahead, write me nasty letters and things like that. But I'm not finding much sympathy for that. I'm not finding much sympathy for a woman who gets raped by Harvey Weinstein and then keeps sending him nice emails and having dinner with him. You know, and then I'm being told by the psychiatrists and so on, and the psychologists, well, that's the way rape victims are. You know, they keep seeing the person. I don't know that I necessarily buy that. I've known women who've been raped and they didn't go out with their rapist again. Okay? It's not that I feel sorry for Harvey. I just think he's the victim of the Me Too movement. He's the victim of a lynch mob. Okay, and if he were a victim of his own devices, I'd say okay. If he had been found guilty of this in not the same atmosphere, I think I would feel better about it. You know, but this isn't a win. This was a lynch.
Can this be attributed to maybe like Stockholm syndrome, where people identify with their captors and
yes, they're captors, Phil, not their rapers.
You know, when you're being raped,
it's not Stockholm syndrome. That's a whole different deal.
Well,
it's that when you're captured by somebody and you're being held, let's say, you know, in the basement or whatever. Eventually, you start liking your captors because that's your best defense. Patty Hearst was a perfect example of Stockholm syndrome.
Wasn't she stooping her captors?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. You're trying, Phil. You're trying to justify that you're right. That what Harvey Weinstein did and his victims did was Stockholm syndrome, and it wasn't. That's not Stockholm syndrome.
I know what Stockholm syndrome is.
No, you don't.
This is a form of Stockholm syndrome.
No, it's not.
That's why they keep going back.
No, it's not, Phil.
Okay, so it's Finland's, Denmark.
Phil, why don't you say I'm wrong? I guess it isn't Stockholm Syndrome, but it could be something else. Okay.
Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome.
Now I may be wrong in this, but I just think that I'm not going to have that much sympathy for somebody who keeps going back for seconds. What? You want to get raped again?
That's why I thought it was some psychological thing that may cause them
If something that horrendous happens to anybody, they don't really go back. It's not, I never met a Holocaust survivor who said to me, God, I long for the concentration camps.
Ha.
Well, I've seen now.
These women wanted jobs.
They wanted jobs, but then if they went back for more, what does that make them, Charlie?
Hookers.
Well,
He had the power.
Well, he had the power, but you just sometimes you go, hey, I'm sorry, I'm out of here. Yeah, I don't put up with that kind of power.
Does a prostitute have the power, or does the John have the power?
The prostitute has the power.
Well, because they have the power to say no.
No, not because they have the power to say no. They have the power because it's the John who's paying money for it. It's them that's accepting it and actually holds all the cards in the deal.
Like Weinstein and the work.
No, you're reversing it, Phil.
No, Weinstein is the John.
Oh boy!
And these women had the power to say yes or no.
I'm just saying that if they were doing it for the job, that's not to be lauded. All right?
Of course not.
And the fact that he had the power and used it when there were a lot of other people in Hollywood who had the same power and were using it as well. I mean, we've all known about the legendary casting couch in Hollywood.
Hey, I quit Disney the other day, right? Bob Iger. Did he just leave Disney?
No.
No? Yeah, I read that.
No, he left as CEO, but he's now an executive in charge of something. He's got even a higher calling. He's running all their entertainment ventures.
And Disney doesn't have any kinds of scandals, right? And they have.
Oh, I think they had quite a few at the time. Yeah. I'm sure. Look, the casting couch has been a thing that's gone on in Hollywood for years, and I always found it disgusting, and I always found it wrong. But it has gone on, and there were people in Hollywood who took advantage of that, because it was considered, it was okay because everybody around you said, hey, what, you aren't exercising your power over these people that way? And it was terrible. It was wrong. I knew it was wrong the first time I ever heard about it.
Was Goldwood one of those guys?
Listen, Mayer, Louis B. Mayer.
Yeah,
come on, that guy. I think they said. I heard he was fucking Shirley Temple. Okay, or maybe that was Daryl Zanuck. I don't know, but the fact was that the casting couch was. It's rumored that, for instance, Joan Crawford was a hooker before she got into movies, and that's how she got into movies, So the casting couch always existed, and so by the time Weinstein came along, he was simply, a guy who couldn't get laid who now could because of his power. All right. Yeah. Because I don't know anybody who would want to have sex with that guy. I mean, what a disgusting, vile human being he was. And that, I've never seen anybody that vile looking in my life unless I every morning look in the mirror. All right? So outside of that, he's the most vile person I've ever seen.
Quasimodo.
Why anybody would sleep with him. Why any woman could have sex with him for the job without vomiting all over him while having sex with him, I don't understand, because he was an absolutely reprehensible, disgusting human being. But how was the only way he could get laid? This was the only way he could get laid.
Did you see his wife? She was hot. The Italian.
She's not with him anymore.
No. As soon as she knew that the end was here, she dumped him.
Yeah.
But she married the guy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, come on. All I'm saying is that, but this guy was a rat and was horrible, and he was terrible. And I agree with everything any of the Me Tooers might say about him. Only you don't have a lynch mob. You let justice be served. And I felt that the trial itself, they're going to try and put him away for 25 years. And most other people would not have gotten 25 years for this.
What did he get for the two convictions? Was it 8?
For the 2 convictions? What 2
Yeah,
convictions?
2 convictions on this. New York.
There were 2 convictions that he didn't get. There were 3 that he did.
No, it was the other way around.
No.
I think Phil's right on that one.
There were 2. Supposedly there were 2 counts that they didn't agree on.
The 3 major counts,
and the other 3 they did out of the 5.
Right, the 3 that he didn't get convicted of, and the 2 that he did were lesser counts.
Yeah, he got, the way I remember is he got on the 2 lesser charge
of the 5.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well.
So I don't remember. Was it 14 years?
25.
25.
Well,
so
it's 25 possible. Now, whether they're going to give him that or not, we don't know.
When's sentencing?
A couple of weeks. Yeah.
Now they're
March 14th or something like that.
Yeah.
They're appealing, but he's in Rikers.
No, he's not.
Went to the hospital.
He's still in the hospital.
Oh, but he's going to Rikers Island.
If he gets out of the hospital, but he had a heart problem.
Yeah. Can you see Rikers from your
Well,
apartment?
he wants the Jello, okay?
Is that where what's his name is? Who's the guy that was accused of raping 25 women with Quaaludes?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. I Spy.
No, he's not involved with Rikers.
What I said, the Jello, because that was his thing, Jello.
Yeah, Jello.
God, I make a joke about Jello because he wound up in the hospital, and that's anyway. I'm sure they serve Jello at I'm sure they serve Jello at Mount Sinai. I'm sure they serve Jello at Mount Sinai if they remember.
I saw a meme of Bill Cosby giving the gelatin to Weinstein, and on the box it said Jello, Jailo.
Oh,
instead of Jello. Yes.
Did I ever mention your timing is terrible? You have terrible timing.
You want to pay me to take lessons? I don't
think this is something we can teach.
Yeah.
Timing is not something you can teach. Hi, Jeff. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
I am doing great.
Yeah. What? Here comes Ray Renati. Oh well, Ray and Renati can take up Bree's spot here. Let me see here. That would be the number 4 spot, and
he's glowing.
He's dressed up as a miner tonight.
I want some Jello pudding.
Hey, Alex says that I should go to the Renati School of Comedy. You got any openings?
Sure. Why did he say that?
Well, he said my timing sucks.
What is that?
Yeah,
you look
it's
like
just a little off.
It looks like you're a miner.
He's trying not to get hit by a car.
I'm a miner now. I'm the coal miner's daughter. I live in San Francisco, so I decided to become the coal miner's daughter.
You're the canary in the coal mine. I see.
Yeah. Canary in the coal mine.
They don't need you anymore because they're fracking.
But anyway, does anybody disagree with me about what I was saying with Weinstein? That these women should have known better because everybody knew. I mean, I knew, and I am not even in Hollywood, and I knew.
Did you sleep with them?
No.
Well, then you knew.
And what does that say about all the women that did work with him? I mean,
that still doesn't make what he did right.
No, he didn't do right at all. He did wrong. He did horrible. But he didn't do anything less than a lot of other Hollywood producers were doing for years.
You believe it was consensual?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. I mean, he holds power, and that was his. What can I call it? What's the word I'm looking for? That was his. Come on,
opening.
I can get you a job in movies. Okay, plain and simple. And they thought they could get a job. They slept with Harvey Weinstein. He would do something for them. So they, they held their nose and they did it. What, we just lost Ray again.
Ray disappeared.
I should.
He could have lost his connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was out riding his bike.
Yeah. But
I thought he went onto the mountain or something.
It was a terrible process that went on in Hollywood for years, but it went on for years in Hollywood, okay? And most of the major producers did it. Louis B. Mayer did it. There were a lot of women that had sex with Louis B. Mayer to get contracts at MGM. And it was not only Louis B. Mayer. I'm sure if I could have Shecky on here, he could give you a list of people who had a casting couch going. It was a terrible thing, but rather than blame it as an indigenous tradition in Hollywood, it's something that we should be glad is gone, and that the Me Too people should be glad is gone, and I don't know.
Can I question of Patrick?
Yeah.
Different subject. Did you hear about the shooting today in Milwaukee? Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people? 5 or 8?
A
beer plant?
People were killed and the gunman killed himself.
Yeah.
Just in a beer plant?
Have you ever drank that piss beer?
I don't drink beer.
It's enough to make you want to shoot somebody.
That the old Miller plant.
Wasn't it Molson?
Well, Molson Coors is the company name now. It used to be Miller Coors when they merged. They just produce Miller in this plant in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So it's still Miller, but it's under the name Molson Coors. That's the parent company now.
Isn't Molson a Canadian company?
Yeah, but I think the way that these beer companies have been sold over the last several years, I don't know who owns anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's a lot like when Daimler Chrysler was a company.
And
Chrysler was a German company. It just.
Jeff wants to say something.
Yeah, well, is like Schlitz still in business now?
They some of those beers are still being brewed,
Yeah.
but not by their companies. They're being brewed by Miller or another.
My
beer.
father gave me a sip of Rheingold when I was a kid, and that was the last sip of beer I ever had. I will never have another beer. It was so.
Oh, I like Rheingold. Come on.
Do they still make it?
I don't know. I haven't had it in years.
Well, you remember Miss Rheingold?
No.
Yeah.
You never remember Miss Rheingold, Phil? And you
No.
call yourself a New Yorker? I wasn't even in New York, and I knew who Miss Rheingold was.
I never drank beer.
Yeah.
Was she on a calendar or something?
No, every year they would have a different woman who was Miss Rheingold, who was the spokeswoman for the company. And they would put her on calendars, and they would put her in the ads, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Do you ever remember Miss Subways?
Yep.
You remember Miss Subways, right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Every morning, as I would ride in on the subway to WPLJ, I would sit there and look at the latest Miss Subways and fantasize about having sex with her. Oh, excuse me, I'm a regular Harvey Weinstein.
Hey, were there any of those posters left? When I used to ride the subway, you couldn't see through the graffiti, but anything that was good, they'd steal. You couldn't even steal the light bulbs. You know that light bulbs in the subway screw in the opposite way? You know, to screw a light bulb in, you screw it in clockwise.
Yeah.
Light bulbs in the subway screw in counterclockwise, so you can't steal them and use them.
You mean, so you can't put them in something else? You can't, like,
Right.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, at least when I was a kid,
well, I don't think, they're probably all fluorescents in there now or whatever.
LEDs or something.
Well, I mean, you haven't been to New York in a long time. The subways here, you wouldn't recognize them because you go into them and it's like you're living you're finally living in the 21st century because they have all these LED signs in the subways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only sign I remember was little enough to ride for free, little enough to ride your knee.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to bring a kid through the turnstile, they had to sit on your knee.
Right. Right. And still, people would have their kids sitting next to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the handicap spot.
In the handicap spot. I wonder if I get to use that now that I have prostate cancer. Do I get to? Everybody laughs at prostate cancer. I don't know. Whenever I say, they go, "You have cancer? Oh, that's terrible." And I go, "What kind?" I go, "Prostate cancer." And the next reply is, "I know somebody who has that." Yeah. No big deal. Yeah. At least if I got a cancer that was serious, but it's not even serious. I mean, except to my doctor who's going to make $20,000 on this operation.
A lot of people die of prostate cancer. I mean, it's, because there's a lot of people that don't do anything about it.
Well, they're usually your age, too. And they're 50. And if you're in your 50 or 60s, it's a lot more dangerous than it is at my age.
Yeah. I didn't know very much about it before I tracked it. But David
Ray, turn off your audio, would you please? Yeah.
Hayek was only 39 when he contracted.
When you get it younger, people are they're much more aware of it and much more frightened of it. It's much more scary. Yeah.
Well, he was the one that told me about the proton therapy.
Yeah, which was forget it. I've talked to my doctor about it and I looked into it. It is probably the oldest radiotherapy thing that ever was, and that the current versions of it is simply nothing but kind of a con job.
Really?
That the best kind to get now is the cyberknife or stereotactic,
quadraphonic.
In fact, the kind that Vernon Nunn had a couple of years back, because that's all that was available, where you went for 2 months, 5 days a week for 10 minutes each time, has been replaced now by 5 visits of 45 minutes of really heavy radiation. So it was completely different then, and times have changed. I mean, and probably when somebody my age gets it next in a couple of years, they're going to even have a better way of solving the problem. So,
Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus.
Down Santa Claus Lane. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kevin. There he is. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all changed. But proton therapy, I looked into it, and it turns out it's really not considered. It's considered, of all of them, the worst. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was advised against it as well.
Yeah. Just that it's not as successful as the others. Okay. But you might have been able to have the cyberknife and maybe have a half a chance, and then have the seeds as well, and the combination of the two might have killed whatever you had.
No, they were going to use a machete. I had a choice between a machete and a hatchet.
Yeah. Well, so far as the fact you said with the seeds, you couldn't have them till your prostate shrunk.
Yeah, that's right. Mine was.
But they could have done that. They could have done that with hormones. They could have done hormone treatments on you. That would have shrunk it enough so they could then do the seeds.
I didn't want to play with my chest.
Well, so you're going around without it. You're lighter now without a prostate.
Yeah.
What's the name of the drug that they used? The hormone drug.
The hormone drug is it's just a female hormone. that stops your testosterone.
Not
And,
estrogen or nothing, is it?
I don't think it is estrogen exactly, but it is close to it.
I better look at what they gave me, because they gave me something to shrink mine up.
That's probably what they gave you.
You testosterone.
Oh shit! That's all I need is bigger tits.
Well, listen,
a
when
form
you
of
when you
estrogen.
get them, give me a call. I want to come over and feel them.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Ray was
You
trying.
devil, you.
Are you getting?
Yeah,
Are you? How long have you been taking it?
Since last week.
Oh, okay. Have you gotten hot flashes yet?
No.
No, but you will get hot flashes from it if it's the hormone.
I don't know. It starts with a P. It's Profac or something like that.
Pro
A little blue pill.
little blue.
Oh no, that's the one that gives you a hard on.
That gives you a heart.
No, it's not that.
Oh, okay.
I know that by now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, my dad started taking that estrogen or whatever it is,
yeah.
and then
Proscar.
he's so much nicer now.
Yeah, and he probably starts crying uncontrollably too.
Yeah, he just cries and,
It's not a
and
hormone.
complains. You don't love me anymore. You don't love me like you used to.
What's the name of the pill? Do you have it?
Proscar.
Proscar. Oh no, you know what that is? Oh no, that's Proscar is it's what I'm taking generically as what do you call it? It's
tell you
called
what that is.
it's called I forgot the name of the generic term.
Finasteride?
Finasteride. Yeah. And
God, I feel so much closer to you now.
Well,
Alex.
finasteride shrinks the prostate, but it also has some other side effects. Retrograde ejaculation.
that's okay. I like holding on to it. What the hell?
Jesus.
The sheets stay clean.
Instead of coming in her mouth, they come in mine. Well,
Yeah,
there
you
goes
just
my
blew your
monetization
advertising
for
again.
tonight. Yeah.
Well, you can come and go, and that's not a restricted
No,
word.
finasteride doesn't really do that for you. It just makes it a little harder to have an ejaculation. I've been taking it for years, and it shrunk my prostate. And I then take something that does kind of do that, which is the Cialis 5
milligram.
5 milligram every day, which also works like Flomax. And I also take Flomax now as well, so I have a double dose of that. So I'm going like a racehorse.
Holy shit.
Ray, do you have your hand up, or are you
Yes,
just holding
Ray.
the phone?
You
No, I've had.
what?
I think he has his hand up.
No.
Oh,
No.
he's holding his phone.
He was trying to do something with his phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? What else is in the news? There was something else in the news. I'm trying to remember what it was now. Anybody see the Kobe Bryant thing?
No.
Yeah, we just lost Ray
Yeah, I
again.
saw it.
It's my microphone and camera is not working at the same time. The battery's probably weak. Okay.
Okay.
I was just trying to turn it.
Anyway, yeah, I watched it. Boy, his wife was just gorgeous. Just wasn't she? Or is
Oh, yeah.
still
I
is.
sat behind her on a plane when he first got in the trouble where he was cheating on the wife and had to buy that big diamond. And I was actually one row in front of her, and he wasn't there.
Was she that gorgeous?
She wasn't bad looking.
Oh,
She looked
she's-
heavier then,
She's
but she might have had some work done.
she's just really gorgeous the other day. You know, I hated lusting after her, considering what just happened to her family. You know, but she very nice service for them. He apparently was very loved by the people around him, and left a good memory. You know, and so I laud him for that. And looked like he loved his daughter terrifically. I mean, she said something so poignant that I almost just cried from hearing it when she said, well, you know, they're where they should be with each other. You
Wow.
know? And that was wonderful. But,
Yeah. He did a lot of stuff for kids.
yeah,
Alec, it was the hormone.
No, what happened? No, what happened is that he after that whole situation with the rape charge and the wife and the whole thing and buying the big diamond and all that, he kind of changed his ways. He became a much better person.
He went all in.
Yeah, he went all in, and I think that should be a lesson to Harvey Weinstein. Anyway, but outside of that, there's no other news happening. Well, we have the corona. We can get back to the coronavirus. You know.
Oh, so they're saying fears in Italy, warnings in Berlin, and caution in Israel. 83 isolated in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably all at the Mount Sinai Hospital. You know, that's why I'm worried about having to go back there to have this little operation, because I'm going back to a hospital.
Yeah.
And where is that virus going to be lurking about but in that
Get it done
hospital?
and get the hell out of there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just give me a mask when I walk in. I'll wash my hands. I'll use that stuff. Oh, by the way, you know what I do every time? I have this thing I do, and I did it yesterday. I got caught at it, actually. But, it's a ritual of mine every time I go into a hospital room. And what do you think that ritual is?
You walk through the front door backwards?
No. This is for good luck, I steal a pair of gloves.
Yeah.
A pair of the latex gloves. In fact,
show us your collection?
No, I have some in my pocket that I haven't removed. And I had some here the other day.
See them. Those are condoms. They're not gloves.
I don't know. But anyway, I always take the gloves with me. I take some gloves with me. And she saw me grabbing them. But, what the hell?
It looks like Trump is suing the New York Times for libel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your point
He
is?
didn't like his op-ed.
Does he know he can't?
I don't know that.
He can't.
Can you imagine if Trump ends up owning the New York Times?
Listen, before this is over, listen, he's always suing people or claiming he's going to sue people. And the fact is, he's president of the United States. He cannot sue anybody.
I think the story came out in 2016.
Doesn't matter. He can only wait till after he's no longer president before he can sue them.
Let me see what this says.
As he says, we'll see what happens.
The article is NBC. CNBC. So the suit seeks millions of dollars in damages for what it claims was the Times' false claims that Trump campaign had a conspiracy with Russia during the 2016.
Really? Really?
If Trump owns the New York Times, if he owns the New York Times, everything will be written like a fifth grader after that. I mean,
yeah. Well, also there's one other thing. If he takes over the New York Times, it'll go bankrupt within a year.
I was going to say, yeah.
It already bankrupt, or?
Huh?
I thought it was already bankrupt. Who? The guy Bezos owns the Washington.
I mean, when he went to India and went to the Taj Mahal, they said, "Don't get too close; it's solvent."
Well, it said during his press conference today there'll be more suits to come.
Some guy named Max Frankel, Times falsely reported a fact is conspiracy with Russia.
It doesn't matter. He can't sue them for that, Phil.
Yeah,
he can't sue them. He can't sue them.
So one of the reporters asked him, "Are you going to sue if everybody writes an op-ed that you don't agree with?" He says, "Well, it's not an op-ed. It's just someone's opinion." Hello?
Did he really say that?
Such a moron.
Did he say that?
Pretty much.
That rings true to me.
oh my God, what an idiot!
Yeah.
He goes today. I heard him say, "I didn't know this, but thousands of people die from the flu every day."
Oh, yeah.
He said that. I never knew that. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, well, maybe if you had done something else besides chase tail,
It all goes away when it gets warmer.
Yeah, it all goes away when it gets warmer.
Yeah. Well, there is some truth to that. I heard a scientist say because there's less.
No. He believes that to be true because every woman he ever came on to went away when he got warmer. So
that virus.
They're saying the virus is a major health threat in Orange County, and even state-owned facility in Costa Mesa. Not Costa.
Yeah.
That's not true.
I'm sure
The president said
listen,
there's 5 people and that's it. And by next week,
There's in Northern California. And
you know why it's not going to happen in this country, Phil? Because we have the best medical system in the world. That's why.
Well, why is it happening in these other countries that have socialized medicine?
Because they're shithole countries.
That's right.
There you go.
Oh, here comes Bree. I've got to put him in. Oh God, we got to go to the 8 thing. Yeah, there we go.
You didn't save my space. I am hurt in the family.
Well, I didn't save your space because time has passed since you called us last. Doo-dah, doo-dah. I'm a poet. I don't know it.
We're thrown to the wolves.
What?
Poet.
He threw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Took your face.
So who?
Charlie.
Charlie. Let me ask Charlie this. Charlie. So now the dust hasn't cleared much. We still have all these candidates, right, running.
Yeah.
But who is your current choice? In other words, who are you rooting for?
Bernie Sanders. I already voted for him.
Me too.
Still going for Bernie, huh?
Yeah.
Not giving up on that war horse. You're not giving up on Howard Beale, are you?
No, I just went to his rally last week.
Really?
It was great.
Fighting Andrew Yang.
How many people were there? Do you have any idea?
No.
Probably 40,000
Really?
in Austin. Yeah.
Anybody outside or like the?
We're outside. Yeah.
Tip to be square.
Wow. That's good. Well, Howard Beale may run for president after all. You know.
Yeah, I read
Mr. Wilson.
where
Mad as hell. Not gonna take it anymore.
Right.
the Dems are saying that he could win the White House. So the consensus is starting to swing around to Bernie as being a viable candidate.
Well, what if Trump says, I'm not going to vacate the White House because there are improprieties, and I'm not going to turn over the United States to socialism. So until these I'm filing lawsuits.
And this is a guy who just in India just said that what the United States eventually will have is a president for life.
Yeah, because he wants to be it.
Yeah.
And imagine if Republicans win back the House in that election.
Yeah, if we keep electing octogenarians, they'll never be there for life. Or they will.
They will get
Yeah.
Hey, Pete.
What I was going to say is, if Bernie runs and wins, the night he wins, he's probably going to have a stroke and die, because
Who do you think?
he will be more shocked than any of us.
Who do you think he's going to pick
He
vice
won't be
president?
shocked.
Who do you
Yeah,
think
can
he's
you
going to
imagine if
pick
he
for
picked
vice
Biden?
president?
Here's the deal.
Warren.
I don't think so. I don't think he can win with two socialists on the ticket.
Although it looks
Well,
like
he's going to vote.
Warren's
He's going.
trying
I
to
think
keep
as vice
Bloomberg.
president, he's going to have Sybil the soothsayer.
Michelle Obama.
You really have to go back now to network to get that joke.
Yeah,
I don't
Did you get it? Did you get it, Jeff?
for the thing.
Yeah.
Sybil
Yeah.
the soothsayer would be his running mate.
Yeah.
didn't go.
I
For
bet you he picks Stacey Abrams.
Oh, from
Well, I
Georgia?
wouldn't be surprised. From Georgia, yeah.
I think he does.
Boy, that's
I
a
think
winning
she's-
ticket.
How
She's
about Mitch
definitely in
McConnell?
his top 5. Can guarantee
McConnell?
he's in top 5.
What would it take to get you over to our side, Phil? How much money?
Can Bloomberg buy
50
you?
cents.
Huh? What?
50 cents? Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you 50 cents if you vote for whoever the Democrat is.
Hey, I could do that in this state and it wouldn't make any difference.
I could vote for a Republican in this state and it wouldn't make any difference.
All right.
Yeah.
So have you noticed? Have you guys getting all the Bloomberg advertisements? Where that
Yes,
one where
I
every
want-
single
want-
one of them. Are you done?
I'm gonna sign
Phil,
up. For the
Phil,
match
will you
for the
let
head-
Kevin? Will you let Kevin finish what he was saying?
Oh.
Every single one of the people in the advertisement is a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's right
Yeah.
after all the
Yeah, we got that.
NDAs are released. Every single person in the one is a woman.
Really?
They're all talking about how Bloomberg is so good. And
Yeah.
every
Do you know,
single person in it.
know
I watched and I counted them.
I didn't see them, and then we'll go to Patrick. I didn't see
Yeah.
them, but supposedly there are ads running. The Bloomberg, he's right on top of everything about the coronavirus
It's Trump's fault.
right now. Yes, yes, Patrick.
You know, you asked Phil what it would take for him to come to your side.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking, for me, all you'd have to do is have
Have what?
Tulsi, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Tulsi.
I'm still holding on for her, man.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if she's the nominee, I'm voting her.
I'm voting for her.
For
What
Tulsi.
do you call that little gray thing she does to her hair?
Here we go.
I don't know, but I love everything
Who
about it.
cares?
Except
Is that?
I
Did you get
normally-
that in the mail? Did you get that in the mail, Kevin?
Look
Yeah,
at this thing.
it's top off.
Oh, I
yeah.
got one of those.
Folds out.
Yeah.
It's got this.
God,
And
he's
it's-
he's spending the money like crazy because that kind of thing.
and they're
Well,
all women.
he said he
I
bought
made
21 Democrats.
I made a negative remark
Did you hear
about
that?
on a Facebook thing, and
Yeah.
I started getting all sorts of ads from him that I could just join Bloomberg and I get a free pack of Trump matches. I could get a headscarf that the anti-Trump headscarf and a bunch of
Sure.
stuff like that. I'm thinking about signing up for it because I want them.
Yes, Patrick.
I would assume most of you guys are getting text messages from various candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Your phone. That
Yeah.
Hmm?
because I get them, of course, from Trump people, and they're looking for donations and that. So the only single Republican woman that I could think of that I could deal with is Laura Ingraham. So what I've done is I respond to all of these text messages and say, if you get me a date with her,
By
You know
the
what's
way-
even worse?
Wait a minute, is this all Mike stuff you get?
Yep.
You don't get a
Nope.
ton of it in Texas.
God, I feel kind of like left out here. I haven't gotten
Every
anything.
one of those
from
were
him.
Mike.
I donated a couple of times to the Trump campaign, and not a lot of money, $25 here and $100 there. And they are relentless. They keep coming back to the well instead of trying to find some new people. I gave what I decided I wanted to give, and I'm done. And but they keep coming back for more. They want more. My name's not on the wall. I'm not certified Trump anymore. All sorts of things because I haven't given more money.
Yes, Bree.
I'd be happy for it to be Bernie Sanders, but I honestly deep down feel that it has to be Bloomberg, because I just think that if you put Sanders in there, you're going to have gridlock like you've never seen before. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable gridlock. You put in Bloomberg, he can buy people out. If he has an idea, he can buy them out. He said in the debate, I bought 21 Democrats. I bought them.
Well,
into
he
office.
bought them their
Check
seats.
check
He
the
bought them
record.
their seats.
Well, he
said
stopped himself. He said Dem. He goes, I bought, and then he stopped, and then he changed it because he
I
knew
thought-
what he was about to say.
Yeah.
He said got instead of bought.
Yeah, he was
But-
about to say bought.
But seriously,
Yeah.
Bloomberg can get things done because the way our system is now,
Mhm.
it's based on money. Now, I agree. All the people out there that say we got to get money out of politics, I agree. That's not happening this year. So let's
Not
look
this
at
year.
that.
No. Yes, Patrick.
I had heard someone, I don't remember where I heard it, but that if Bloomberg were to just give each of the candidate $10 million to get out of the race. He would save so much money, and then he could just, because he's buying it anyway, so pay them. And whoever said it wasn't certain that it's not legal. It seems to be a legal thing where you could donate to their, just buy them off.
He did. You didn't hear about that, but he did. Andrew Yang on CNN told the panel that Mike Bloomberg called up the donors and said, "You guys don't have to give any money this round. I've got it covered." And Bloomberg paid the money.
By the way, if he gave out $10,000 to everybody to get out of the race, do you know how many people Elizabeth Warren would have to have sex with as a prostitute to get that kind of money? At least 10,000 of them.
Yeah, it would take the rest of her life.
Kelsey, 1 week.
Yes, Jeff. What?
I think Trump would take the money.
Trump would take the money. Oh boy. Do you know we almost have 40 people listening to us right now on the?
I think Bloomberg could give $2 billion to Donald and say, "Here, I'll make you a real billionaire. You get out." Donald will take it.
Just go away. Yeah. I bet he would.
And the promise never to talk behind his back again.
Yeah. Yep. Let me see here. How much time do we have?
Awesome.
Let me see here. Where are we?
Elizabeth Warren did become a hooker, and she made $27.10. So they asked her, "Who gave you the 10 cents?" She said, "Everybody gave me 10 cents."
That's
All right.
Gee, now you're just stealing jokes. You were 7 years old when you heard that joke.
I heard Henny Youngman say that in 1986.
It was the public domain.
Yeah, well, Henny Youngman was famous for saying, "Take my candidate, please."
I stole it from Bell Parth.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how sexist has this show come tonight? We've made jokes about Elizabeth Warren hooking. And we've made jokes about Tulsi Gabbard, how if she just put out for you, you'd vote for her, Patrick. Boy, your vote can be bought, can't it?
If she brushed up against his wheelchair, he'd vote for her.
If she gave me the coronavirus,
She could take you on the subway on her knee. Would you vote for her?
Yeah. I got sick a couple of weeks ago, and I grew up. My mustache got fatter and bigger. I got the coronavirus. Now, there's a joke nobody will get. There's a joke nobody will get.
He was a comedian.
Yeah, he was a comedian.
just
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, right over the head, right? Yes, Bree. Did you get it, Bree? Did you get it? No. Okay. There was a comedian. There was a comedian. His name was Jerry Colonna.
Colonna.
And he was called Jerry Colonna. Yeah. But there's one way to solve the coronavirus. Put a lime in your ear. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here all week.
I told you.
And the,
What?
Carpet fibers will be.
Carbon fibers. Yeah. Okay, hey, listen, that's it. That's our theme playing. That means it's all over with and I can go to sleep. Oh, no, I have to stick around for an hour to post the next show, which is coming up with Jack Bishop, called The Intersection, which I hope some of you will call. Yeah, stay tuned for Patrick. Anyway.
Alex, I want to see a thermometer behind you with all the money you make from YouTube.
So far, it's $5.01.
Start coloring it in like you do for,
Yeah, right. Anyway, everybody, that's it for tonight. Why don't you give a big wave goodbye, and I will give a big wave goodbye back. Okay, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There goes our citizen panel, each and every one of them. And the next show coming up, of course, is The Intersection with Jack Bishop. He'll be here to take your calls, just as I've been here to take your calls. And thanks to all the people who've been listening to the program tonight. We've actually had a massive amount of people watching. And it's growing, oddly enough. I think Probably this show is finally growing the worse it gets. Anyway, I'm Alex Bennett. That's it for tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow night. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, be sure to tell her I love her. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.